Hello, soul friends. This is Miriam. Welcome back to my channel. Today's pick a card reading is going to be all about whatever these animal spirits that have been talking to me today for you guys want you to know. So, a message from Animal Spirit, I think we'll title this video. Remember, no matter your individual beliefs, tarot or oracle reading is your spirit guides coming forward to give you advice, or just simply your subconscious mind helping you answer life's ponders. No matter how you look at that, it is healthy and you are in the right place. So today was interesting. I just kept getting all this animal energy and I kept thinking I wanted to pick animal cards out of this, which not all of the cards have animals on them in this deck, but I was drawn to the ones that are in there. I just love so much. So anyway, we'll also be getting some animal spirit from your animal spirits who are with you at this moment as well here. And then we will also get you some more oracle with this deck here. And we will use Crow Tarot to check out our clarifications with a tarot deck. All right, as far as your choices go here, we have the Empress, which is represented by this seal. And I'm using a Shiva shell from my old friend Lisa. Group 2, you are the Queen of Swords. I grabbed the book out of this little tin that these came in, and it says it's a lioness, but it also looks very much like a cougar or a puma. That's just two different names for the same thing. Or a molly cat, as they're called. The females. Anywho, whether you resonate with one of those or the other, I feel like there's a message from each of those animal spirits. So if you're like, I want it to be a lioness or I want it to be a cougar, then just, that might be an indicator that that's your pile right there. We also have for group 3, the Knight of Pentacles, an elephant, and 3 moonstones. If I didn't live out in the middle of nowhere, I'd go somewhere and have somebody set these into something for me, but I just don't live anywhere where people do that kind of thing. Okay, and then group 4, you are the Knight of Wands with the Hawk. And the very, very clear heart quartz. Alrighty, go ahead and pause if you need. We will see you in your individual readings. Bye. Hello, group 1. So if you picked the Shiva shell. Should have looked that up before I said it. Let's go ahead and get into your energy. First off, with the seal, you picked the seal. The seal, I've actually never even thought of before. I don't usually get attracted to water animals. I have a little bit of a thing for sharks. And that might be about it. Octopus, yes. Which I read that the actual plural way to say octopus is octopuses and not octopi. They said it's actually closer to say octopodes if you can't stand to say octopuses, but the actual way to say it is octopuses. And I was like, alrighty. And I could hear all the ghost children out there laughing in some classroom somewhere. Anyway, all right. So I've never looked into seals, but it's about it's a water animal and an earth animal. It's a mammal. It is like the spiritual properties of it are things like being adaptable, going with the flow, being able to be playful, being resilient. There's also like, this isn't anything that you usually won't find courage in a book, but seals remind me kind of rabbits in the sense that like they're kind of just like big floating meals for like everything that's bigger than them that wants to eat something that has a lot of like nutritional value that day. And so they kind of have to go out, without a lot of defenses themselves and try to live their lives, and they still have time to play. And that kind of goes into this, I don't usually see courage, but I do see like resiliency, okay, when I look up a seal and what the spiritual properties or the personality characteristics are. So right now, you're probably going through a lot of personal awakenings, I'm feeling like a lot of really tough times, but you still manage to keep your sense of humor, or you still manage to play hard and work hard. It's got this little thing around its neck that could just be a cross with a circle that it's connected to, but to me it also looks like it could be an ankh, or how do you say that? The little Egyptian symbol with the cross with the little loopy-doo on top. Yeah, I said loopy-doo. Yeah, I did, Charlotte. What are you going to do about it? Spank me? Take my birthday away? You can't. Okay, anyway. That's like a symbol for life and like this, the cycles of life. And I think that also goes into that resiliency of play and the resiliency of knowing that you're just like this little meal out, this little snack out in the middle of like a very predatory world. So I get a feeling like that some of you are recognizing or have recognized very recently your vulnerability, and you've been focusing on that a lot, enough so that you were drawn to this animal spirit, and that's a message that's coming through for you. I think that possibly you've seen something, experienced something, contemplated something, dreamt about something where you realized, oh my gosh, like this is, one of these days we're all going to shuffle off this mortal coil and, physically die, right? And knowing that you don't really have any control or way of knowing how to prevent it. There is no way to prevent it every single time. All that realization is coming in. We also have you going with the flow of that and just being like, well, then enjoy the good times while we can is like one of the positive messages that's coming through with your energy. And that could be something in your personality that drew you to this animal spirit. Also, it's wearing a little crown. It's the Empress. The Empress is all about, making your own successes. That's also very much about going with the flow, even though it sounds like going with the flow can be lazy. A lot of times we create success by not fighting things like change or fear or whatever, and just going with, stepping into things even though we're afraid, or stepping down away from something because it is resisting us. Sorry about that. A little particulate of something in the air just like landed in the back of my throat, and I just started coughing and I could not stop. So now I'm going to sound stuffy, but that's why. Anyway, yeah, you can often find success by also going with the flow in the sense of going to the beat of your own drum, listening to your own instincts, moving forward your way as opposed to the ways that people are trying to like beat into you for some reason, right? Okay. I also feel this like being like, a little piece of shell like that, right? Forms it over time in water, and it's not like the environment around it isn't very harsh, and yet it makes this beautiful little thing that you can like turn into. I have one of these in a necklace that you can turn into jewelry or whatever, right? And so And then it also has that spiral, which is a very important symbol of going with the flow of life. The, the cycle of going through being born, maturing, learning, dying, coming back, doing it again, if you believe in that sort of thing, or going on and being rewarded for how you carried through those stages in a one cycle life, if that's what you believe in. Okay, other messages with this animal spirits. I want this to be like a 3-hour deal today. Okay. These I was not going to do first. I was going to go right into some more animal spirit energy for you, get some other animals out here to say some things to you. But these popped out as well. So as far as your situations go, so we're going to get into these first, and then I might draw more of them later. I don't know. It's always up to your guides. I don't know why I try to make plans. They never work out anyway. Okay. As far as situations go, I feel like just like possible like loss, losing someone close to you, having a big realization about life and death and how we're only here for a little bit of time. So maybe you had like a close call, or like I said in my last video, like you might have seen something violent on the news that or on, social media that you weren't expecting to see that day. And it doesn't have to be like one of the big ones that everybody saw. Like how many times, like since like social media came out, are we like forced without our permission to see something really extremely violent that we didn't want to see, or something extremely uncomfortable that we weren't asking for, right? And I know if you have an account and you're scrolling, you're asking for it, right? Like you shouldn't have signed up if you didn't want to see weird stuff. Okay, fair. But like at the same time, it's not like most of us don't go to like gore sites and try to like watch a lot of stuff, or, I shouldn't say most of us, a lot of us don't. And so like we end up seeing stuff that we don't want to see anyway, right? No matter what it is you're not into. I feel like there's some sort of thing that happened where you were thinking about life and death. For some of you, it just has to do with like the ocean, that you saw the ocean for the first time, or that you went to an ocean location and were reminded of the ebb and flow of life or something. Like it's very, very introspective. Like I don't feel like it's connected to maybe a huge specific life-changing event personally for everyone that is drawn to this card, but it is like the theme that you're all thinking about, whether you're thinking about it because you lost someone, or you had a very like, maybe you're in healthcare and you had a traumatic experience at work that stuck with you, or you work in a gas station and a horrible accident happened right outside your door, things like that just come out of the blue. You didn't ask to be a witness to it, and then some of you might have been actually like involved in it in some capacity, and it's made you reassess things in your life. Okay, I'm going to move on. I don't want to keep like harping on this and try to get a million different scenarios to prove this is a thing. Let's just keep going. We have flexible, number 19. That also goes along with that going with the flow. So if you feel like you're not at that point yet, your guides are definitely sending you a message with this animal spirit and these cards that popped out for you early, that you need to go with the flow. So it's either a type of advice or it's a type of, affirmation that you're in the right group. Okay. We have number 23, peace. Who is it? The Taoists that say that the more you let go and go with the flow, the more you'll find peace and happiness, or contentment at least. Happiness is an illusion, right? It's so hard to let go, but I feel like some of you are already have let go and you're just going with it, and there's confirmation that you're in the right place. And these animals are like, we're here. We've been with you this whole time. Others, you're still kind of going through it, and you might need to let go or give it a shot and see what happens. All right. And I get it. Like if it's a job thing and you want to let go, but you still have to go to your job every day, or if it's you live in a violent area or you're surrounded by people, it could even be something that's simply you're surrounded by people that constantly send you or post or watch, things on the news that are upsetting to you. And you're just like, I just feel like after a while, it just starts to like drag you down. You might live in a community where that's what people like to talk about, right? You might work in a place where that's what people like to talk about in between like a very stressful job. You're like dealing with patients and then like you're dealing with people talking about like the most gory, god-awful stuff you've ever seen on television or social media that you've ever seen before. So I feel like a lot of like going with your own flow, like we said, marching to the beat of your own drum earlier, is definitely a message coming through to help you retain that peace or find that peace, depending on which one of those cycles you are in. Okay, this did catch my eye off the bottom of this deck, and I'm just going to give it to you. Rattlesnake. This is the experience that you're presently going through. The experiences that you're presently going through are initiation into fulfilling your purpose as a healer. So definitely some vibes of healthcare workers or people that seem to work in some type of, what do you want to call it? Like social service, public service. There's something that made you feel vulnerable, like something that made you go, yeah, I could go at any time. Like you could have heard about somebody that you didn't know personally that just like, passed away, or maybe you work in like a drive-through and somebody passed away in the line, or, or at a bank and somebody passed away in the window line or whatever. Stuff like this happens every day. And I feel like a lot of you have been touched by this idea, at least. If you haven't seen something physically, you've been touched by the idea of it. If you haven't experienced something significant yourself, the idea has touched you as well. And so it's an uncomfortable feeling. And this feeling of letting go can feel like giving up for some of you. For others, it's like you've let go, but you're not sure where to channel your energy now. You're just kind of moving along, going with the flow, waiting to see what you're supposed to do. And nothing seems to be coming up. So you're like, hello. Okay, I did what you said. I let go. I'm going with the flow. What am I supposed to do now, right? Your guides are just saying to like go with it, to keep going with it. That as soon as something comes up, you'll know when to strike, right? A rattlesnake waits before it strikes. It waits, it warns, it assesses, it gets the right angles all figured out, and then it strikes if it has to. And so, or if it needs to. And so you just need to keep going with the flow and see what comes up upon you. Because you're right on track. Whenever you let go and start letting the universe guide you better, you really are on track to like your destiny. It just never feels like that's the way it's supposed to go. Okay, let's keep going. See what other animals pop out for you. I feel these three really, really strongly. We have a chimpanzee. This card has really different animals that you don't normally see in animal decks. It says use both your intuition and your intellect to solve the problem or get answers to your question. Your intuition and your intellect. You've learned a lot from whatever you've been through, because I feel like you've all been through a lot, and that's part of your deal. It's also part of why you kind of don't know what's supposed to come next, right? If I do let go, then what? I've let go, now what? That kind of stuff coming through. You are being told by your guides with this chimpanzee energy that you have learned more than you realize. You do know more, and that's why you've gotten this far in the first place. They're trying to remind you of that. They're also reminding you that your intuition is also very strong, and that's not something you learn, it's just something you have. And so a lot of times finding the balance between both of those when you're very strong in both categories can be very challenging, more so than just somebody that's plodding along and they're not super intellectual, but they're very intuitive. And so they just know when to turn a corner and they just do it without sitting there and torturing themselves, right? You are somebody that's very high on both ends, and so that it's hard to know which one to use. So I heard a saying on one of these pick a card readings. I don't know which one, guys, because I watch so many different ones. So I'll just name off all the ones I watch real quick. Give them all a plug. I watch... It could have been Isotero that said this, because I do watch her occasionally. I've watched Gem Goddess. I've watched... I'm pretty sure it was Isotero that I saw it on. So we'll just go with that and hope. Okay, so shout out to those pick a card readings that I watch. Anyway, she said that anxiety screams, intuition whispers, and I was like, yes. Logic or intellect also kind of like, it doesn't really whisper, it just shows you. Like it just pops into your vision is the way I see it, even if it's a vision in your mind. And so your guides are saying that you're going to figure it out. You're not going to miss what's coming towards you because you're high in both of these categories. But they are acknowledging that they do understand that you feel, confused or unsure of what's going to happen to you next. Let's keep going. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'm back, and hopefully this sounds better now. I was able to take my earbuds out. It's getting just cool enough outside right now that I can actually turn off my ceiling fan for 2 whole seconds. It's very nice. But then my cat had a massive issue, so... Okay, then we have Tiger Energy. It says you're being called upon to provide leadership, so trust you're capable of doing so. You might have some messages in group 2, because group 2's message of the lioness is leadership as well. And like you said, like I heard a person's mind pop up with, but I don't know what I'm supposed who, what am I supposed to do? So again, they're saying, and they've reiterated it with this card. I've already peeked at it. Keep going with the flow, because once you have what is coming towards you, or once you see what you need to do, it's not going to be something that you miss. It's going to happen at the proper time. And it's going to be something that you're not going to make a mistake on. You're going to either intuitively know what to do or intellectually know what to do. You will know. Okay? So let all worry go aside. It's just like a cat doesn't sit and worry about catching something. They just see movement and they go for it. Right? All right. And then we also have the elk. What PT it says there. Stand tall and maintain your dignity no matter what, and others will treat you with the respect that you deserve. I'm also getting this stag energy of like the stag that comes out that's like a white stag and it leads you to your answer. That message came out with this card for me as well. Like knowing where to go, knowing when, and elk also would know when, like the males especially would know when to act. Okay. When to, I mean the females know too, but I'm talking like when to like fight, right? When to react to, and the females know when to fight too. I'm just getting myself in all kinds of trouble. I was just focusing on them because it was the one that showed up. That's why. All right. Anyhow. Don't hate me because I get inappropriate. Okay. That's a little song I wrote for you. I hope you really enjoyed it. Stand tall and maintain your dignity. I feel like whatever some of you went through, not all, but some with this card coming through, that your guides are trying to say that the hard thing that you went through, don't worry about what other people are saying. I feel like some of you might have gone through something rather public lately. and you're going with the flow now, you're rebuilding, you're moving forward, but that residual energy of like, ugh, you know, is still there, like, ugh, that was uncomfortable, that situation. For others, you're being guided by the elk, okay? Just keep standing tall and maintaining your dignity while you wait for whatever blinding realization is coming towards you. You're not going to miss it. You're not going to miss it. Whatever your situations are, and I feel like there's a lot of them. Zebra for your last animal energy card here. Let go, let go of your fear and know that you are safe and protected at all times. Yes, very, very reassuring. Okay. Regardless of what your situations are individually, it is going to be okay. There's just this, and that also makes me think of like health issues, like waiting for test results or waiting to find out if a treatment is actually going to work this time, or trying a new medicine and wondering if you're going to react to it poorly or if it's going to actually help you this time. Going off a medication and wondering if you're still going to be okay without it. Those are a lot of scenarios. I'll stop there. Lots of health things are also coming through, and your guides are being very reassuring for those of you who are coming in here about health. But you're going to know what to do. If you're searching for a doctor, you're going to intuitively figure out the right one, or the right one's going to find you. All of those things are definite promises and reassurances for your situations. If you are, you know, broken up with somebody and you're waiting for what's next in your life because you just lost a huge chunk of something that was very meaningful to you, or a career, or you've graduated and you're waiting to see what's next and you did really well, but nothing seems to be materializing. Same thing with like jobs. You've been, you know, or you've started a new job and you're going with the flow, but you're trying to figure out why nothing's materialized in a fabulous way yet, or what next step you're supposed to take. Okay. I also mentioned that it was cooling off, and I feel like things are cooling off for your situation. Those of you that had a very public sort of, maybe not scandalous, just like everybody knows about it, or like whatever you saw that made you think about these life or death challenges or these big life decisions that, you know, sorry, my cats keep misbehaving. Hang on. Okay. But anyway, like these big life challenges where you have to kind of like maintain through like a high level of stress, like when you're grieving and you still have to go to work, or when, you know, it feels as if things are starting to cool down. If it wasn't a big public thing, whatever big events had happened in your life, those are big changes, that seems to have cooled down for everyone, and it's starting to slowly get into like a groove that's manageable. You're starting to be able to, because I mean, like, that's another thing. If you're going with the flow, like, let's make it all literal. If you're like getting flushed down a river somewhere and you're floating and everything's fine, and there's no rocks or sticks like jabbing into you or buffering you or hitting you, or big giant rapids sucking you down and spitting you back out again, then it's a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, I'm going with the flow. If like, you know, those things are happening, you're going to have to react to things as they hit you in the face, right? So take that how you will. I feel as though you've all done really well. You've done the best you can. I feel like there's a peacefulness to that in all of your individual situations of whatever happened before. If it was a death you're dealing with, if it was, I mean, like, there's so many different ones that the message of going with the flow that I feel like I should just stop trying to list them all and just kind of go with the energy that's coming through. Sorry, I can't get more specific than that. You know who you are. Okay. I want to get a couple more of these. Cleaning it up. Yeah. And look. Look who it is. It's his bro. Yo. Check it out. Yeah, just holding your head high, moving forward. Notice like the head held high, like the little seal here. Being flexible, going with the flow, trusting your intuition and your intellect. Trusting that you know more than you think you do. Trusting you'll know when to act when the time comes. Knowing when to lead, as some of you will be called to do, it looks like. Let go of your fear. Some of you have some soulmates energy coming in. Interesting. Spirit, for other people, what would this signify? I'm hearing like loving your own soul if you're not like looking for a soulmate. There was some romance vibes of, you know, what's going to come next. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. So we've all been floating through your journeys of like various degrees of like severity and seriousness, and you're all like equally impacted by what's ever happened with you. And so your guides are saying that you don't need to worry about what you're looking for, that you're going to recognize it when it comes, because it's going to be as recognizable or as undeniable as like finding your soulmate. Okay, thank you, Spirit. That was a good one. Okay. I think we're good to just move on to some tarot. Spirit, what can they expect coming forward to them? Can we get any hints about this thing that's going to be unmistakable? They never do this for me, guys, but I'm going to try for you. It's on camera that I tried. And they're like, emotional fulfillment. Oh, that's nice. I am getting some vibes that for some of you might meet a person that embodies that. You know, if this is a romance situation, this feels like characteristics of somebody that would be coming into your life, right? So if you're looking for somebody that's emotionally mature, emotionally giving, emotionally strong, goes with the flow, like you're trying to do right now, etc. Okay. Then that's a good indicator that that's kind of your person, right? And remember, going with the flow doesn't mean going and trying to make anything happen, guys. The Seven of Cups. Lots of opportunities are coming your way. Lots of opportunities are coming your way. Okay. Your guides are saying, don't worry, you're not going to pick the wrong cup. There's another snake. Some more of that snake energy. You're really transforming into something. Snakes are also about knowledge, in my opinion. About being smart and strong. Crafty, in a way. I know they usually like save that for a fox, but there's also a little crab here. Lots of water energy, even with the penguins. Penguins like to hop in the water occasionally, don't they? But then you also have this very like earthy energy with these guys over here. Yeah, I feel like with a lot of you, your guides are saying like you'll know when you feel good. You'll know when you will not miss this. Like, I know that, okay, fine, I'll tell them. You know, they know that you want them to say, like, you're going to find your soulmate at the train station at 6 o'clock. Just be there. You'll see each other and you'll just know and you'll ride off in the sunset together. They're not going to do that for us. And the reason why is because it takes away the spice of the adventure of life. Maybe. I don't know if that's actually the rule. I know that that's generally something that I feel that's a part of it. But they're saying you're not going to pick the wrong one. You're not going to miss out. Some of you might want to know when, right? When is this going to happen? And I feel like they might not tell us that either. Spirit, can we get a timeline for some people? It's just, I know that might be broad. Queen of Swords, yeah. Kind of like, we'll tell you when you deserve to. You'll know when you see it. Some bluntness coming through there from somebody's guide. But also the Queen of Swords knows what to do when she's all by herself. And they're saying that you don't need anybody to tell you what to do or when it's going to happen. You just need to do what you're doing while you do it. And here's the other thing, the message that's coming through with this card as well. Queen of Swords rules alone. She does what she has to do because she's there alone. So she makes her own executive decisions and she rocks it, okay? She does whatever she has to, whether it's uncomfortable for others to deal with, she does it anyway. In most cases, they call her like the widowed queen, right? That it can really old like tarot readings would be like, oh, it means your husband's gonna die, you know, that kind of thing. Don't worry, I'm not saying anybody's husband's gonna die on this, okay? But the energy that's coming through, like some of you that are actually dealing with real death, some of you could have seen somebody lose their husband and you're watching them go through that. Some of you could have lost a husband and you're already going through that, okay? I'm not predicting anybody's husband that's going to die. If your husband's already gone, you would know, okay? For some people, this is a metaphor about, you know, doing what you have to until the answer comes in. I feel like in this card, this could very well be like a husband coming back. For some people, this could mean like a breakup coming back towards each other and reconnecting and re-solidifying. It could mean that somebody new is coming in. That's more the energy that I'm feeling. But you're not going to miss it. Your guides want you to know that it's going to happen. You don't have to worry. They only tell us so much, guys, to propel us forward. So we have 10 of Swords in reverse. That stands for very much the opposite of being stuck to me. And the Knight of Cups. Yeah, it's going to come in. You're going to see it. It's going to happen, okay? They are not really giving me a win. I am getting some Cups energy and some Swords energy. The Cups and Swords are two of the suits that kind of interchange as far as timelines go. So I am going to go out on a limb and say that for some, this is looking like fall. Some people associate Cups with spring because of the water element associated with it. What I studied growing up was that Cups stood for autumn or fall, okay? And then, you know, in my area, that would be the months of September, October, November. Some people see it as spring, that, you know when your seasons are, okay? You could take it as a sign that it's my seasons because I'm the reader and that's where I'm at. That's how I always take it when I'm reading for other people. Is just go with the seasons that I know. It just saves us time. And your guides know what you mean, okay? The Swords are also showing up. And the Swords are about the season of, they can flip, spring or fall. So again, like we have like a spring or fall like situation for people. Like some of you it's going to be spring, some of you it's going to be fall. And they could be flipped because those can flip in different ways that people learn. They can stand for either one. It just depends on which deck of cards you get or who taught you. So, all right. So that's kind of a timeline. I'm sorry I couldn't get better than that, but I feel grateful that they gave us something. So maybe give your guides a little thank you for at least giving you a range of like seasons that something could be coming towards you, okay? To me, it feels soon. And that's the other message that's coming through, and that's why I think we're getting the flip. I think that some people that are watching this, soon to you is spring, and that some of you that are watching this right now, soon to you is fall. And so that's why it's coming through that way for you. Right now, where I'm at, soon for me is fall. Very soon. Some people are already celebrating it. It's hard for me not to get into it too. I like to feel the spirits of the seasons. But it's hard for me, like, am I going to get festive for it early and gear up? Or am I going to stay festive for it after it's over so I can enjoy it for as long as possible? enjoy your letting go for as long as possible. You're not doing anything wrong. Everything that you're doing right now is going well for you. So just keep doing it. That's a major message coming through from your guides. And with that, I shall leave you. If this was helpful, tell me how in the comment section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box, my friends. Thank you for being here, you guys. We will see you next time. I will stop singing to you now. Bye, 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 bye. Hello, group 2. So if you picked the rose quartz, let's go ahead and get into the first animal that came out for you. This is interesting. When I first got this card out, I was drawn to it because I thought it looked like a cougar or a puma. Okay. And I thought that would be a cool thing to talk about, right? And so I was like, well, that's cool. And then I was like, but, you know, art is always different for people. Let's make sure and get out the book and check. The book said it was a lioness. And so I was like, oh, well, I don't know that much about the lioness or the cougar, for that matter, when it comes to like their spiritual properties, okay? So I decided to look them up, and this is the interesting part. The lioness is about leadership and grace and power. The cougar is more about solidarity in oneself, being an individual, being on one's own. And that also fits with that Queen of Swords energy of like not having a king, being on their own, making their own decisions. But that also goes with the power of leadership that the Queen of Swords has with the tigress or with the lioness. And so it's kind of up to you which animal I guess you want it to be. I feel like we have those two types of people watching right now. That there's a message for people watching that shows this group that you need to lead or that you need to be strong within yourself. I feel like those are messages for both. Or both those messages are for one person. Okay. What else did I want to say about this? So that being said, I think that we can kind of move on. Maybe, hang on. Situations came in with the other cards. So let's just wait and see if something comes in. So there's two different types of solidarity with those energies that we just discussed, right? But there's also this type of energy that is coming through of being sort of lonely. If you're a leader, it can be lonely even if you're surrounded by people. Why? Well, because, right? It's like this place that nobody else can share with you completely, even if they're all around you, even if they're doing a bunch of things for you. They can never quite understand what it's like for you. It's also hard to be the boss in certain instances. Some of you might be a boss in your company, and your spirit animal is coming forward to acknowledge that they know that you're a boss and that you are kind of up there by yourself in some type of a leadership role. I'm also getting this sense for some of you with that lioness energy that some of you are alone in the sense of like a higher moral ground. Interesting. So here, let me just give you a scenario. This is one scenario that might be very specific for somebody here, and then I won't drown you with scenarios because it's a general reading. But the type of scenario that I'm seeing is like, I'm going to do a really tame one, a very like real life situation. You're like in a meeting, and you know how group behavior can go sometimes if you have to go and work with lots of groups of people, okay? And there's a huge disagreement about what needs to be done between like you and like everyone else, and you know deep down that it's gotten to the point where this isn't just about the meeting, it's about this point in your life you were supposed to just have to stand for something, and so you do, right? That type of energy is coming through. I feel like you are in a situation possibly, or you've been in situations throughout your life and you've gotten to this state of energy of Queen of Swords type energy or cougar, and lioness energy where you've been through enough that you are not afraid to speak your mind and that you're not afraid to deal with what's coming towards you. What's interesting about this energy is it's like something recent, and this is kind of in league with group one a bit, not gonna lie. It's just this one's a little less like tranquil feeling. It's like you've decided to take a stand on a matter and you're not going to back down. You've been through enough and you've learned enough and you know enough. You feel steady enough in your resolve that you're not going to back down to any group that's saying that you need to feel this way. Whatever your individual situations are in that matter. This could be a family situation where people are ganging up on you. It could be a friend group. It could be a work situation where you're working with a group of people. It could be a community situation, and community can span all the way from work to your living area, to your state, to your country, to the world. Is that enough scenarios to know that you're in the right group? Let's keep going. This card also carries that message of like you need to speak up if you haven't yet. Okay, and you need to trust yourself. That's another thing that comes with this. You need to trust that you know what you're talking about. You've learned enough about something. I feel like some of you are just on that cusp of something in your life where you're like, no, I need to say something. A lot of parents go through that when they're younger. They'll kind of still, if you're very tight-knit with your family, you still might kind of defer to your parents' opinion of what you should do when you're all together. And then when it's just with you and your kids, you take care of your kids. And you're starting to get to a point of like, no, that's my kid. I'm going to do what I want. And if mom doesn't like it, mom can deal because it's not her kid. That kind of energy is also coming through. Oakley dokley. Let's move on. We have Deep Knowing number 43. We're going to get some more of these, but it came out like this for group one. So I'm just going to go in pattern with what was shown to me in the last group. Deep Knowing. You know deep down what to do. That's just more reiteration. Your guide, this animal spirit is coming in to tell you, you don't need anybody. Okay, so cougar energy. You don't need anybody to come in and tell you what to do. You already know what to do. Lioness energy, same message, but you also have people underneath you that you might be like leading. Okay, so there's that little bit of a difference. For the cougar people, you don't need anybody to, that message needs to come through really clear to those guys that are cougar energy. You need to know yourself. This is for nobody else but you. Your guides are saying that there's a message coming through for some of you that you need to know that you need to do this, whatever your situation is, or you're in a point in your life where you need to start practicing your life in the actions that you do without thinking that anybody can see. Doing it just for you. If nobody was watching, what would you do? What wouldn't you do? Okay, so that's a big message coming in for people that are having that cougar energy. We have number 25, round and round. Interesting. Okay, so one message that's coming through with this image to me is staying steadfast to yourself regardless of the loop-de-loo of people around you doing whatever the F people like to do. You know what I'm talking about. There's that standing against a crowd situation coming through over and over again in this energy that I'm feeling for you guys. For some of you, I feel like it feels quite serious and scary. And there's nothing fun about feeling ganged up on at all. Okay. There's also that message of be still and know. I keep hearing that verse come into my mind. It's actually, I hear it more as a hymn that they used to make us sing in Sunday school bazillion years ago. And I won't sing it for you. I promise. This is not the time for singing. Okay, meerkat for more animal energy. We have get support from a trusted group of like-minded friends. Okay. Yeah, that solitary energy for both, whether you're leading or not. So if you're leading, and you're in a leadership position, whatever your situation is that called you here. For some, I feel like it's parenting. For some, I feel like it's career. For some, I feel like it's just living life in general. You're just trying to figure out how to move into the next phase of your life. But you're doing it all by yourself, okay? And Meerkat is saying to find some support from a trusted group of like-minded friends. Now, anytime I get this card and I hear that, I always hear all these like thoughts pop up of people saying, there's nobody around me that understands. That's why I feel like this in the first place, Miriam. I get it. I get it, Todd. I don't know why that came in. That's so funny, but that's the thought that it came into my head as, was I get it, Todd. But there's ways that you can do it if you're solitary. And I'm telling you guys this because I am one of the most solitary people I know. I have a spouse who travels, and I have an illness that prevents me from leaving the house more than most people. I'm like basically living like we did during the global event that changed everyone's lives for a while, 24/7 because of what I have. That being said, I know how hard it is. I also know creative ways to still find support from trusted groups of like-minded people, okay? Even if you don't have friends. That's why I said like-minded people. There are online support groups. I know that it's not the same thing, but if you actually just open yourself up, one of the ways that I do it, and I'm not saying that you have to join a support group, I'm just saying that when I have to reach out and get my socializing done electronically when I would prefer not to, one of the ways that I get myself online is it's going to sound dorky, but just to help me get there, I pretend, and this is hilarious because I don't even like sci-fi, I pretend that I'm in some sort of sci-fi futuristic movie, and this is just, I'm on a ship somewhere, and this is how I have to communicate with my people. And then it seems cooler, and then I can stomach it better. It doesn't have to be my example. I'm just giving you an example of creativity, ways that you can be creative and do it. This one on the bottom is also calling to me, which is weird that happened with group 1. I have Ladybug. This is a time of good fortune and abundance, so be willing to receive all good things in your life. Excellent. I feel like some guides were just popping in and were like, enough of the heavy stuff. Let's talk about something that's coming towards them because that's something that they were here for. Thank you, spirits, for keeping me on track. Or as I like to call you, the Sparts. All right. You're headed towards good things, even if you're on your own. And I feel like even if you stay on your own, you can still be happy. I just worry about the people that feel like if they have to stay on their own, they can never be happy. I want to just shout it from the rooftops that if your heart is beating and your brain is working, there are still things to do. That's an original little Miriam quote there. I know, it's not even good. So just try to think about what you're heading towards. And your guides are saying that you're heading towards some good things with ladybug energy. Luck is coming towards you. Let's get some more animals for you. Snow leopard. Take some time out of your usual life and spend it in solitude. You're like, yeah, well, problem solved, right, guys? Okay, so your guides aren't doing that to rub it in your face. They're just saying that that's what you're supposed to be doing right now anyway. Maybe you couldn't have chosen that if you weren't already in a solitary position of leadership or a solitary position of solitude, okay? I just feel like this very, very hard loneliness going on. And your guides are trying to say, like, during this time, like, this is all happening for a reason. And so your challenge right now is to figure out why this is happening right now, not how to get out of it. Why are you where you are right now? And I know that a lot of people are really angry about that being where they are right now. But sometimes that's just where we are. Let's keep going. Ooh, group 1 got this one. The experiences that you're presently going through are an initiation into fulfilling your progress as a healer. There's a reason for all of this. We were just saying that with the snow leopard. It's time for you to be in solitude. This is all ordained. Oh my goodness. This is all meant to happen. Okay. This time of alone time, and you might be saturated with people. You might not, you might love some alone time, but right now you have to do this job, right? But it's lonely. Like new mothers get lonely, right? You've got like 3 toddlers and 1 baby, or, 1 toddler, which is bad enough, and 1 baby or whatever. And you're trying to just like get them fed and keep their environment cozy and clean and keep them happy and keep them engaged and yada yada. And it gets lonely. I totally get it. That could also track as something that somebody's dealing with here. It's important, though, that we, even in situations that are not ideal for ourselves, that we recognize that it's still a time in our life. And why are we doing it at this time? Why are we in the situation that we are at this time? Why are we solitary right now? Why do we feel like being solitary? Okay, why do we not have like a bunch of supportive friends just right there ready to go? What's the meaning for that? What's the lesson behind it? Grouse. Express yourself through rhythm and movement by drumming and dancing. And how interesting. I feel like somebody that's watching this group right now is from California. Shout out to California people. Grouse. Express yourself through rhythm and movement by drumming and dancing. For some, this could be very literal. If you haven't learned how to drum, spiritually speaking, it can be fun. Others, it's this idea of like keep yourself, find a way to express yourself through your everyday movements, even if no one is watching you. And that was one of the lessons coming through, remember, for some of you, that it was like, for those of you that are in a leadership role or not being away from people enough, when you're alone, you might just want to crash, but what special things can you do for your special alone time? Those of you that are alone, what special things can you do throughout your day to make it meaningful for you? I'm going to tell you this works. I'm not going to tell you I'm good at it because I'm not. But a lot of times in solitary situations, having a really rigid routine that you set for yourself can be fun to make, and it can be fun to do, and it helps take you through your day. When you're in a situation like this, it's kind of solitary. But that only works for people that works for. That's not for everybody. Okay, let's keep going. Unicorn. Indulge creative, imaginative, and magical side through some form of artistic expression. Yeah, this expression of yourself, getting support from like-minded people. Get creative. If you don't like where you are, you can always get creative to change it to something else, right? To change it into something new, a new experience. If you are solitary because somebody has left your life, you can always seek out new people. The main thing is to curb your expectations from I need it to be like this to I wonder what this is going to be like. Okay, let's go ahead and get you some more of these oracle cards because I just like them so much. And I tend not to use them as much in the winter and in the fall. So I'm trying to get as much use out of them right now as I can. Blessed. Yeah, remember, back to this ladybug energy, y'all. You are headed for blessed times. You are headed for good times. Your guides are promising you this. That this was all meant to be, but you're headed for better times. Like, get creative about ways to create a beautiful world for yourself in the meantime, and that will help you. You're being led by your higher power at this time. You can trust that everything is going as planned, that you're in a good place, that you are... These cards are very similar, and they, not all the cards in this deck look like that as far as colors go. And it kind of matches that unicorn and your stone. Open your heart up. There's a lot of that pink quartz energy calling out. And I'm not just talking about like, oh, some of you are probably like, my heart is open. I feel like there's somebody out there that just really wants to find somebody. And your heart is open and you are ready to receive it. But there's like this thing about needing to be okay with you first. And I know that's such a cliche and nobody likes to hear that when they're wanting something so bad. But that is a message coming through. Chaos and conflict. Yep, I'm feeling that. There's such a struggle here in this group. I don't feel like it's all of you. But for some of you, you know, that aren't completely and totally by yourself, you're surrounded by chaos and conflict, and that's what's created that loneliness feeling or that solitude, or I should say isolation, right? Solitude is actually kind of more positive. And I'm not saying that it's not a positive thing to be by yourself. I really think that a lot of people could do with more of it, you know? It's just hard for some people to sit with themselves. There's a reason for that. It's important to find it. It's important to like get that stuff out of your mind and just look at what is going on. What is the reality of the situation? Others, you're just surrounded by conflict and you're trying to find that peace on your own. The cool thing is that your guides are saying over and over again that good times are coming, blessed times are coming. Your higher power is leading you. Express yourself. It's safe to express yourself at this time. There are supportive people out there, even if you haven't found them yet. Even if finding them is in like a book. I know that sounds like crazy, but you know, our situations are what they are. Sometimes I can find support from characters in a book or a film. Just saying. Okay, I'm gonna keep on going here. Community. Yeah, we were just talking about building some kind of a community. Even if you have to get creative about how you make that look because, you know, you're living... I'm always picturing like a person that's like out in the middle of like nowhere. And it's like a frozen tundra. And you like, there's just nothing around them. There's like a little hut by themselves. And I'd be like, how would that message apply to them? Okay, let's keep going. Exchanging gifts. This is coming through in the sense of that support, finding that support and exchange gifts with people. Exchange gifts through your differences. Even if you would prefer not to be around those people, if they're part of that chaos and conflict, it's still okay to try to have some kind of meaningful interaction with them. Okay? You know, like if it's like a grumpy, this is just a scenario. I'm picturing like a grumpy old person who is so upset with the world and they just sit in their little chair and watch the TV and get even more grumpy as they watch TV and the state of the world. And they kind of take it out on everyone else when they come in. And you have to hang out with them for a holiday or something. And so you actually just sit down and watch the History Channel with them and like empathize with them and just listen to all the stuff they want to gripe about. But instead of like not giving them anything back, you just agree with them just so they have somebody to do that with. I'm not saying that everybody has to do that. I'm just saying that's a scenario of like exchanging a gift. Okay. Giving somebody your time, right? It could be sharing knowledge with somebody, taking the time to show somebody how to do something. Just take it as you list. Let's keep going. Poised. Yeah, and get ready because there's good stuff coming in. Your guys just keep showing this like something great is coming towards you. It's like gonna happen. There's no matter of will it happen. It's like it's coming. And I feel like it's something that you're not really anticipating. Like it's beyond what you would hope for yourself. Like it's better than what you're hoping for yourself. That's a nice message coming through. Let's keep going with some tarot. It's like this isn't going to be a long reading today, and here we are, 7 hours later. 7 of Wands, victory. Even if you feel like there's so much facing you right now that it can't get better, your guides keep making it seem like it will. Emotional satisfaction with King of Cups. This can also indicate personality traits of somebody coming towards you. I always get ideal partner vibes from the Queens and Kings in my readings. Three of Wands, getting what you've waited so long for. Page of Cups, celebrating with friends. Remember we had the meerkat talking about finding those friends. I love that for you. Eight of Cups, walking away from what doesn't serve you anymore. I feel like a lot of you, what doesn't serve you is just that any negativity in your emotional sphere. Like King of Swords, overcoming challenges again. Okay. Six of Pentacles, things coming back into balance for you. I mean, honestly, like, it's feeling like really good, guys, as far as your individual situations. The messages that your guides want you to know is that, you know, you're on the right track. Things are going to get better. Like, you're not just going to stay wallowing in where you feel like you are right now. The people around you might always stay chaotic in some cases. You know, I feel like people, whenever there's big groups of people involved, like, they're always going to find chaos eventually, you know, but I feel like you will find these creative ways, this new and inventive, like, space for yourself, whether that's amidst those people or on your own, on your individual situations. But your guides are being very, very, very reassuring that things are going to balance, that you're going to find more like-minded people if you're surrounded by those that you really can't relate to, that you're going to find a partner, that you're going to find good friends, that you're going to be emotionally fulfilled. And with that, I shall let you go. My friends, if this was helpful, tell me how in the comment section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. Thank you so much. We shall see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, group 3. So if you picked the 3 little moonstone stones, get them up close so you can look at them a little bit. Okay. And let's get into a little bit of what you picked as far as an animal. The first thing that you picked, or that I thought of when I saw this, was so the first thing that came to my mind was this sense of, I don't know, I think it's in India, but don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. But somebody told me that, like, when their trunks are up, that means, like, it's a lucky elephant, that you shouldn't buy little elephant trinkets if their trunks aren't up like that. So that right there tells me that some luck, good luck is coming in. So some of you might be watching this because you're hoping that your luck will stay the same, or you're hoping that your luck will change. Either way, your guides are here to tell you that your luck is looking pretty good right off the bat with that first message that came through to me. The other thing that we can learn about elephants is they are very family oriented, very loyal to family. They never let family down. They never forget about family. If they care about you, they will care about you for the rest of their life, and always hope that they get to see you again. So I feel like that could be what some of your personalities are like. It could be what you're looking for, is that type of belonging. There's also a lot of wisdom and memory energy. There is a lot of loyalty energy. Lots of good luck, protection energy. And we have some energy of being able to overcome obstacles and being able to learn about yourself, to come into your own, to go forward with power, but with patience. So those are all energy things that are coming in. This is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is about moving very slowly but calculatingly towards a big goal. They are the slowest moving knight. So if you're looking for like big results right away and you pull this card, usually you're not going to see them tomorrow, you know, that kind of thing. But it is about a bigger payoff at the end because of the work and the planning and the calculating it took to get to that place. So that's also coming through with that Knight of Pentacles energy for you. All right, so different situations that are coming through with just this card, and then as we get more of the animal oracles and the other oracle cards, we will start to see more. But the first thing that's coming through with situations is like work, like working towards a goal and it taking a really long time. Some of you might have known that's what you're signing up for. Like I feel like some people are like entering into, maybe not necessarily it doesn't specifically have to be that you're going to medical school, but it gives me that feeling of commitment of time to get even through school that like doctors have to go through, that lawyers have to go through, right? That other occupational people have to go through, that I'm not thinking of what your job is because I have no idea what the corporate world looks like. I have no idea what career world looks like at this point. But like years of planning, years of work going towards something. Some of you, like there's a very specific thing that just came through for somebody that's watching this is just starting a big, I don't know if like this is why you're watching, but this is just a confirmation that you're in the right group. That somebody here just got like, or just embarked on or started a very large, long, lengthy, complex, like tattoo, body tattoo of some kind. That's going to take years to accomplish based on the amount of work and the amount of money that it's going to cost. That's also coming through for somebody very specifically. Excuse me. Somebody's going through some kind of training that's going to take years and years. But some of you are like aware of that. Some of you are very aware. Others, this might be a warning of like, hey, if you don't want to wait years and years for something to materialize in this certain circumstance, you might want to hop ship and go a different direction. But honestly, it feels more like to me like this is a path of where you're meant to be. It's just going to take a lot of time. Like you're at the beginning of a very long journey, but it's going to be a very rewarding journey at the end of it if you plan things properly. So that's also coming through with that energy. Okay. I also feel like elephants carry that believing in yourself thing because of Dumbo. Just saying. All right, let's go ahead and get you. You got things in a bit of a different order here, but that's okay. Let's get you some more animal energy. We have Panda. Create a sacred space for yourself in your home and or place of work. Create a sacred space for yourself. Create a sacred space for yourself. Camel. Trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. See all that slow moving energy? It's like very like they're going to get where they're going to go, but like these guys aren't bothered taking time to move forward, right? And that's what your guides are trying to say to a lot of you is that this is, you know, and some of you are fine with it. Some of you might not be. A lot of times the Knight of Pentacles is about saving money, but it's also about having enough money to get what you need to get to the goal that you're after. Camels are also about saving and conserving. So just remember to save and conserve your money at this time. And just because you're on a journey, thank you, Spirit, just because you're on a journey and you're going forward towards a big goal, and that's where you want to be, Panda is reminding you to make a happy home where you already are. And I know that's hard to do. It's so hard to do for me that I just want to just fast forward, get to the goal, and just bask in the goal. when really once I got to the goal, there's probably just going to be more goals than I want, right? So I should just enjoy my space while I'm moving forward. Enjoy the now, right? Stay in the now, people. Stay in the now. Mountain goat, there's something out of balance in your life, so do whatever you need to do to correct it. I feel like that word energy is only specifically for some. I feel like for others, this card is just about determination. And obviously a mountain goat needs its balance for it to survive doing all the crazy like traveling it does vertically. But, you know, if something gets out of balance, they'll lose their life. Or they'll lose their progress. You know, if they keep their life, they could lose a lot of progress they made that day. Or lose their cool. These could all be metaphors for you, in case you're not picking up on what I'm putting down, on what your guides are putting down for you. But so for some of you, your guides are saying you need to put things into balance before you can move forward. I feel like for a lot of you, that's just slowing down and letting it happen. For others, it might be something that you haven't quite focused on yet. You're so focused on this trajectory forward that you might not be thinking about what's going on right now and spending time in the now. That message is coming through quite a bit. So like if you're moving towards career, make sure to spend that time with your family. Find creative ways to make that happen. Find the limited time and then take quality and add it to those limited times so that each of those limited times are so much more rich or whatever, okay? But this is also just about determination. Like you can still make it up to the top even if you've fallen down to the bottom before and had to climb all the way back up again. Maybe you're on your second climb, some of you, etc. and so forth. We're speaking metaphorically here. It's still okay to keep trying and to keep going it up. Slow progress is still progress. I feel like there's somebody watching right now that's in such a rush to get to where they're going that they are like about ready to punch me in my face. But you can't right in a second. So focus on what your guys are saying or run and get a different person that's like it's happening tomorrow. I don't know. Let me get past that energy and keep moving forward here with the rest of you. Because some of you are fine with it. For some of you, you understand that there needs to be certain balances, and so that's why there needs to be time being taken to move towards this goal that you're moving towards. Sorry, Spirit, help me again. I feel it. Okay. We have Tortoise. You're too fragmented, so do whatever it takes to get grounded. I feel like that's specifically for anybody whose mind is racing right now, somebody who's pushing towards that idea. Look at all that slow but steady wins the race kind of. These guys are fast, but not when they're climbing up a flippin' mountain with nothing but their little hooves. How do they do it? I find it absolutely mind-boggling when I look up and see these little suckers just perching on like little rocks that are about that wide. And they're just working their way up, right? Or working their way down. That scared me to death. Your spirits are here with us, my friends. Okay. What else? Roadrunner. There's some speed. Keep your sense of humor and don't take things so seriously. Ooh, like somebody didn't want to hear that. Your guides are not saying that this isn't important, whoever that bristled, okay? Your guides are saying that this is just where you're supposed to be right now, and there's no reason to feel like things are not going to be great down the road because you're not there yet. You really need to focus on what's around you right now. That's part of the journey, is part of the fun, right? Man, I feel a pull of somebody that really doesn't want to hear any of this. Okay. Spirit, help me get past that. I fully acknowledge that this might not be how people want things to go. I really do. Okay. Okay, I think we're good on animals energy. For those of you that knew this is going to take time and you're just moving forward, I feel like this is just oh, thank you, Spirit. Okay. I'm also feeling like some of you are fine with how much time it takes as long as it's all done right. But you might have somebody nagging you to get it done better and sooner, and that the fact that you're not doing it sooner is some kind of a failure on your part. This is coming from like a parent figure, a pushy friend, somebody who's like tries to dominate you in certain areas of your life, even if it's just dominating you by telling you what you should do, and you have to listen to them and act like you're taking into account what they're saying, or you're going to be in trouble for some reason. Some people can really be pushy like that. And so your guides are just reaffirming that you're doing the right thing by taking things slow. Okay. Let's get some of these. Yin. Number 2. And blessed. Yes. Good energy. I feel good energy coming in. You're moving towards good things. Like your goal is going to be good at the end. You're just not quite there yet. And so you're kind of, in limbo, and your guys are just trying to remind you, like, there's still good times to be had right now. And that they're also reassuring you that you're not going to do all this work for nothing, that you will get what you want at the end of this. And that you'll actually have an easier time if you do kind of ground yourself and take it easy, and resources and savings and all of that. Okay. So with this Yin card, I'm seeing this divine feminine energy. It doesn't matter what gender you are. This feminine, I'm getting like, because of tarot, I'm getting like some high priestess vibes. I'm also getting some receptive vibes. So like getting things, knowing that what you have is coming towards you, receiving what is coming to you. Accepting what is coming to you is a reminder of this card as well. Those of you that are in a hurry, this card is very much about, your guides reassuring you, and your own soul and intuition reassuring you that yes, you're going to get what you want. You're going to receive. Okay. This is also about stillness. Okay. So it could be like the calm before the storm, the stillness before the big, For example, like I'm just using this as an example. If this pertains to you specifically, then it's just a message from your guide that popped in as an example for me and a message for you. Say a woman wants to get pregnant and she just can't wait to have that baby. And so all that time that it takes trying and waiting and trying and waiting and trying different things and waiting some more, or somebody that's very sick and they just can't wait to get better. And so instead of enjoying that time that they have where they didn't feel good, but you're still alive, breathing air, right? There's this feeling of missing out at the end because you weren't present in the now. Now is a blessed time as well. I'm seeing good things coming in, like good family around some of you, good money coming in for some of you, just liking your space that you're living in, some of you. Some of you, it's a combo of those types of things. Some of you have like an awesome cat or an awesome pet. And that, animal isn't always going to be with you, right? So enjoying every second with them that you can is very important, yada, yada. Okay. Just a few examples. It doesn't have to be everyone that's here. It's just, just to give you an idea. Yin is also about kind of being introverted, finding balance, restoring yourself, taking it slow, okay? Holding back in some cases. Just enjoying what you have right now as well. Okay. Thinker, yeah, there's a lot of thinking going on. If you're having trouble with overthinking, there's nothing wrong with throwing in manifestation to help with that overthinking pattern. Like, what's something I can overthink that will actually bring something good to me? I like doing 3 succinct, very poignant images of the thing happening. Just 3 like movie flashes of me shaking the person's hand, signing the paper, putting the key in the lock, whatever the thing is, right? A leg up. Something's going to come along and give you a leg up. Your guides are being very reassuring that you're moving right towards what you want. Some of you just need to let go of how soon it happens. Some of you need to let go of what people think. Some of you need to let go of whether or not it's happening in the way you think it should. Whoa, there's your balance, yang. Interesting. Let's put it right over here so that they're balancing each other. So masculine energy, fire, water, fire, okay? For some of you that your goal is romance, gross. This is showing that you could be finding a romantic counterpart coming up, a partnership in work, someone coming to help you, someone joining in your journey. So this is a loneliness thing. I'm feeling very tingly over the fact that your guides are saying that you're not going to stay alone forever. I feel like the long wait for some of you is almost over. For some of you, it's just beginning. Okay. Let's see here. Yang is also about making actions. So it's like your guides are saying you don't just have to sit and wait. There are some actions you can take. They might be things like making your house a home, finding ways to make the time that you spend before you get to your big goal in a more productive and happy. And, you know, what's the point of life if we're not just trying to make good memories every day? I feel like that's one thing about social media that kind of helps a little bit. It probably still has more negative things about it than good. And I'm just talking about like Facebooking, posting, that kind of thing. Because it can create so much drama. You see negative things that you don't want to see. But one of the things that I think is cool about it is it tends to make people want to post positive things about their own personal experiences. Most people, I know there's some exceptions of people that like to doom and gloom post. I get it. But some people, it's like, they'll be like, oh, they're so fake. Look at how happy they are. They're always just posting stuff about them having a good time, because like all they feel the need to post is when they are having a good time, so that they have like happy memories that are emphasized, right? That's actually a healthy way to like focus in on what's going well in your life. Taking even just little actions like that can still help with that yang energy of taking action, okay? The other thing about yang is it's about putting things out and not receiving, so giving. So your guides are saying, remember, this is a time for you to receive. What are you putting out for others? These could be some simple little things, right? Simple little things, but it could be something along the lines of just giving a kind word to somebody, having a positive experience with somebody else. You know, giving love and encouragement, right? If you're in a severely negative space with people, try to be the one that's positive, not in the shaming way. There's two different kinds of positive. There's the type of person like, come on, guys, don't be gloomy gusses. Let's all just have a great old time. You know, like everybody's like, shut up, right? Almost said Becky. Shut up, Becky. But like, then there's the other kind that's just more understanding, reading the room and understanding that things aren't going well. But being that positive force of like putting out like, hey, let's put out some positivity, some guidance of, even if just by example, that we don't all have to act like we're about to throw a little kid tantrum just because we're in a situation that's, I'm like picturing jury duty for some reason. And move on. It's getting silly. Okay. Deep knowing. I swear this card keeps coming up and coming up. So many of you guys' guides are saying, we are here. Please believe that we are with you. And deep down inside, you know it's true, Becky. A change in the wind. Yeah, I feel like you're... Whether you're at the start of this journey or towards the end and you've been going towards something for a long time and you want something to happen, you are headed for what you want. Like, everything is moving towards, yes, that into the rainbow happiness. Me likey. For you. Let's get some tarot for you. Speaking of you, let's get some tarot for you. It's weird that I pulled them out this way. I don't usually do it this way. Emotional fulfillment is coming towards you. Yes. Remember, again, I often associate the kings and queens with like ideal partners and their attributes. So I do see fulfillment coming in for people who are searching for a partner. It's gross, but here we are. Judgment, second chances. As you're moving forward towards your goal, some things from the past might come back to help, to heal. Okay. Some others might come back to hinder. So you really got to decide, how does it feel when something comes back to you? Does it feel like there's unfinished business, or does it feel like we're moving forward? It feels like we're just going to slip back to how it was before. Then that's your answer. Okay. Ten of Swords, burdens nearing an end. You're almost there, etc. Don't fear the future. Trust your intuition. King of Pentacles, having what you need, making the right decisions, having that big payoff at the end of your goal. I'm taking this more as the enjoy the fruits of life now and later. Enjoy them now, enjoy them later. Enjoy the pleasures that life has to give you. Don't wait for things to get good to enjoy them, is a big message with the Devil card. The other thing is to not chain yourself down in any way. Just don't chain yourself down in any way. The Hermit, take time for yourself. Sometimes when you're moving towards a big goal, you have to spend time by yourself because there's a lot of work that has to be done. But the payoff is huge. That's constant coming through. Emperor's all about success. Save your money. You know this. They don't need to hear that, Spirit. Protect yourself from certain individuals. Ooh, protect yourself from the world a little bit is coming through. That to me feels like being protective of yourself through social media. Look, you know, sometimes with like social media, you got to go through, and I call it cleaning up the algorithm, where like you go in and you're like, okay, I'm looking for stuff that makes me mad today. And when I find it, I'm going to finally block it right as soon as I see it. I'm like, I knew it was you, Becky. Poor Becky. Let me know if your name is Becky and if you didn't deserve any of this. Just like in the comments, say, I am Becky and I didn't deserve any of this. Oh, I love it. Anyway. I just threw out random names. I really don't mean anything specific. It's not a message coming in for somebody specific unless your guys are just trying to do one of those little Easter egg moments that neither of us are aware of over here, but you figure it out over there. Okay. So like just going through and just blocking things, like, and it doesn't even have to be like friends. It can just be the things that pop up in your feed because of the algorithm. And then pretty soon, like I call it like, you know, cleaning the algorithm, because you're getting rid of all the stuff that it thought you liked and it was like flooding your pages with it. And you're just like, no, get that out of there. That's not what I'm here for. I've done such a good job doing that on Instagram, not so much on Facebook. Not so much. And I think it's because more people that I know personally are on my personal Facebook than there are on my personal Instagram. I think, or it's just the way they push the algorithms. I don't know. But anyway, that might be something some of you need to do. That also goes along with that Hermit energy. Some of you need to keep your money to yourself at this time. Don't be giving out any big amounts to people. Keep your money with you. Let people keep your problems with you. Let people keep their problems with them. There's no need to be a hero and help anybody right now. That's definitely coming through. So be a little bit selfish. Five of Wands in reverse. Yes, your guides are saying there's not a bunch of conflict coming through. Avoid people and you'll avoid those conflicts. I don't mean all people, just certain people. There's a little warning coming through with that. It's like the type of people that do whatever they can to get themselves ahead. They really don't spend a lot of time helping others. They definitely don't help you, even if you've helped them. People that stuff just magically never works out for them. They always have a hard luck story. These are just some hints for people to know who they are. And again, we're back to Knight of Pentacles. Just be steady on your course. Go right over the top of those fools and make it to, ooh, 10 of Pentacles, which is beyond success. Not just for you, success for your line under you, okay? And with that, I shall leave you group 3. If this was helpful, tell me how in the comment section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box, my friends. We shall see you next time. Bye. Hello, group 4. So if you picked the hawk, I looked up some information on it in the book and also online just to freshen up my knowledge on spirituality of hawks. The type of hawk this is a raptor. The characteristics of it are higher perspective, keen insight, swiftness, strength, power. Oh, what else? Like a higher guidance or a higher understanding of like where you need to go spiritually in your life, freedom, you know, those kinds of attributes. So some of you, there is a lot of different cultural things that raptors represent, from Native American to Christian to ancient European to ancient Egyptian. And so anyway, there might be a lot of people from various cultures watching this right now, or you could just be from a culture, one of those cultures that does hold this animal in high regard, and that's why you picked this pile. Situations that you're going through, there might be some kind of a challenge coming up towards you. Nights are all about facing challenges. And this is a challenge that, whether or not it actually is, to you it feels like a challenge that you need to really meet full force. And the Knight of Wands is all about meeting something full force. Some of you might be fire signs. That might be an indication of why this is a group for you. Some of you just might be a very fiery spirit. Some of you might not be afraid to, you're not afraid to meet somebody in a fight head-on kind of energy, if that's what it came to. Like, you just don't have a fear of confrontation. You usually don't have a fear of acting, and you feel ready to act towards these challenges. When it comes to like clarity of seeing and intuition and protection, it feels like you're coming up towards something that feels very unsure, very up in the air, very challenging perhaps. And that's why you feel like you have to go in through with so much. For some of you, I feel like you're chasing a lover. For others, I feel like you are deflecting an ex, like you don't want to deal with them anymore, and you feel like they could do damage in your life. It doesn't have to be a romantic ex. It could be an ex establishment. It could be an ex job. It could be an ex boss. It could be an ex friend, an ex partner, an ex whatever. You get the idea. Something that you don't want in your life anymore that you feel like could cause you damage. That is definitely coming through. It's almost like you're ready to go into battle. And what the hawk energy would be showing you is this idea of look at things from a higher perspective. Don't drag yourself down with emotion, and don't look at it from like the point of view that you're at or that you're stuck at currently. Try to look at things from different perspectives to gain insight on what you should do moving forward. So like, I feel like divorce vibes. I feel legal struggles besides just divorce, custody battles, monetary suits, kind of going up against just somebody that can be very challenging in your life. Some of you, like, not necessarily going up against them physically, but just going up against any, this person can be very draining. It can be, you always know it's going to be a thing, whatever you're all facing. It's like this very, very overwhelming sense, and you're just ready to go forward and make sure that you come out on top. And I like that energy. I like that spirit. You do have protection. You do have strength. Your intuition is strong. Okay. But just make sure you're looking at things from different perspectives. Make sure your vision is clear. Pull your energy back to yourself so that you can see things as clearly as possible as you move forward. Let's go ahead. I feel like these cards that fell off the bottom are just, they're totally for you. So let's just get those right off the bat. And there's 4 of them. Weasel energy. Interesting. These cards, the animals in these cards are not the usual ones you usually see. Be silent, pay attention, and simply observe with your eyes, ears, and physical feelings what is happening inside and all around you. For some of you, I feel like you're in a really toxic workplace or very observant workplace where every little thing you do is scrutinized, and maybe for good reason, maybe because you oversee a lot of important things that mean a lot to a lot of important people. That could be healthcare, very important record keeping, very important group management. You know what I mean? There's so many things coming through, including very many different cultures. And so I'm trying not to mire us down with the specifics, but I'm also trying to throw a few out just to give people reassurance that they're in the right groups. Lots of work vibe energy, honestly, and then lots of couples breaking up and couples trying to go towards each other. Whoa. Sorry, just got a huge rush of energy. Somebody is so into someone. And what your guides are, you're watching and you're waiting and you're just gathering intel on this person to figure out if it's worth making a move. Lots of wanting to make a move energy. There was another group in this, I think maybe it was group 1 or 2 that wanted to be with somebody. They wanted to make a move on someone. Anyway. So if you felt drawn to one of the other piles, that's probably why. But just I don't see you being creepy or stalking. If you are doing that, you knock it off, you'll go to jail, but just watching somebody very closely, painting, noticing what they like, what they don't like, noticing the people around them that they like, the people around them that they don't like, what their music aesthetic is, what their political aesthetic is. You're just really gathering intel on this person and observing them. Some of you, your guides are saying to wait and observe this person. There's a lot of physical attraction for somebody in this group, for several people probably, if it was that hard of a rush of energy of wanting to really make somebody yours kind of thing. Lots of physical attraction. It's almost you're not even thinking straight half the time. You're just thinking about this person and all the things you'd like to do to and with them. And your guides are kind of saying to observe them, see things from a higher perspective in that sense, because you'll learn more about them. A lot of times when I've seen people have a really high physical, and you might have found this true yourself, some of you, when you see people that have a really, really hard physical attraction to someone and then they actually go for it, a lot of times it doesn't work out because they didn't really know the person. It was just based on how they felt about them physically, and that really wasn't the main reason why they had had that person come into their life, if that makes sense. So looking from the higher perspective with that hawk energy of being able to actually really see the reality of the situation for what it is. Is it somebody that actually is worth your time? Are they a safe person? I know that's lame and it's not hot to talk about. And you can do that as much as you want to or not. Guides are just guides, not bosses, as I always say. But be silent and pay attention. If it is worth going after, then you'll have more intel, so you might as well just learn as much as you can. It's, if you've learned a lot about somebody, it can be easier to win them over. That's for sure. So, food for thought. For others, this is not like a romantic attraction, or this is like about, deflecting an ex, or worrying about a past person, coming in and harming you in some way. The message is the same. Be silent and pay attention. Observe with your eyes. Document. If it's a legal thing, always document any interaction that you have as much as possible so that you just have it. I always say, document just as much as to think that there's no possible way the other person documented more on you. That's just, the best legal advice I could ever give, not being a lawyer and not being educated towards that in any way, shape, or form, and not being a reliable source for that type of advice. So there you have it. But yeah, being crafty, staying low, and it's interesting. This was probably the type of animal that this guy would probably go for, right? So you got to be smart and hide and duck and stay one step ahead, that kind of energy. Look up, look from different perspectives. Those are both, perspectives are very, very opposite here. But, take things from both sides. I guess what they're saying when it comes to gathering your intel and figuring out what you want to do when it comes with these exes. I really don't feel like you're in any immediate awful threat. I feel like if you were, you would get taken to a different, reader, because I don't read for actual threats. I read for just day-to-day life, okay? But I'm not feeling a big emergency vibe. I'm just feeling like a strategic vibe on the day-to-day life sense, so that somebody's less of an inconvenience to you, even if it's just mentally. And yeah, pay attention to what's happening inside of you. A lot of times, if you're getting more and more upset and a situation is seeming more and more awful, the situation itself hasn't actually gotten more awful. It's just that you're like getting more upset, and that made it feel worse than it actually is. Always pull back and ground yourself and get back into perspective. So grounding, right? Looking at things from different perspectives, looking at things sharply, keeping your balance. So we were talking about going for somebody, we were talking about jobs, we were talking about with the job thing, being silent and watching those around you, especially if it's a new job. I'm feeling some new job vibes, and like you're already picking up on some tendency for drama. If you're already seeing that, it's not a one-off. That's just because it happens there all the time. If they can't even keep it together enough for the new person, that's just a fun little fact I've learned the hard way over and over and over again. If they're having a hard time already and you just got there, it's going to be like that all the time. It's not just a one-off. Almost never, ever, ever. So just observe, watch what others are doing, and keep to yourself. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone in a lot of situations, and some people need to hear that in these groups as well. Moving right along, Cardinal, excellent. The polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance, so do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. Jeez, interesting. This animal deck really calls people out when things are out of balance. They're like, it's out of balance. Like, geez, okay, that's just interesting. All right. Cardinals are also something about hidden talents coming out and helping you when you least expect it. So that could be something to think about as well. That could be something that helps bring you into balance, is focusing on your little hidden talents. Why are they there? Just focus in on them. You don't have to do a bunch of stuff with them or tell everybody about them. Just focus in on it. Why do I have that little weird? What are they? And why do I have them? If you focus on them, they might come out more to help you more. Okay. The polarities of your spiritual pursuits. For some of you, your pursuit is just getting that person, and you want them so bad that it's like a spiritual pursuit. Like you're really thinking that you've got like a spiritual connection with this person, and you might. I'm not saying you don't, but I know how intoxicating that can feel when you really, and it can make you a little bit, hazy in your ability to make sound decisions. It can make you impulsive. It can make you see things or look for things that might not be there that you want to be there, vice versa. That's why they keep saying to keep your perception sharp. Both higher and lower perceptions. Get it? Okay, and for some of you that really want somebody, you already know what I'm going to say. Like, you're thinking about engaging in some kind of an affair. Either they're married, you're married, both of you are married, etc. And you really want that other person. Or you're not married, but you're together with somebody and you're supposed to be being monogamous or whatever. And you fully intended to keep that promise when you made it, and so it's kind of a conflicting feeling to want somebody that bad when you're that loyal. Just remember, you don't have to act on it. Fantasy is fantasy, and so like a lot of times bringing things back into balance is just to allow yourself to know that that's what you want. Sometimes we can really tizzy ourselves up just trying to resist our thoughts about that, What else? Some of you, I feel like you want somebody so bad that there's no stopping you, regardless of what gets in the way, and that's what's conflicting to you as well. For those of you that are worried about exes and things like that, I think what might be out of balance there for some, and it's not going to be for everyone. I think this is very personal for some people, and it'll speak to some people without me saying what it is, but for people worried about an ex being a situation, it's like there's this thing about you feeling like if you have faith that things are going to work out, then they'll work out. And if you lose faith and get doubtful and start to despair, that can be the actual thing that makes things go wrong, is the fact that you dared to despair and worry or doubt. Your guides are saying that like that in itself is also destroys faith when you think about that in too hard of a perception. Like you can say, well, it's natural to worry. It doesn't mean it's not going to work out. And there you go. Or just whatever you need to do to turn that around. I hope that makes sense. It's really hard to explain. And hopefully you know what I'm talking about if you're one of the people in that camp that's going through that and that was the message for you. For others, job stuff. You've been observing people. Remember, okay, I think that if you're in a situation with jobs where it's feeling a little bit toxic-ish, a little bit cutthroat, a little competitive, whatever it is that makes you feel like you can't quite trust everyone, or you at least have to observe everybody enough to where they don't get an edge on you in some way. Your guides are saying not to stoop to anyone's level based on what your own ideas of integrity in the workplace look like. So it's really easy, if you're at a gossipy workplace, for example, this is just an example, I'm not calling anybody out. It's easier to get sucked into like letting off steam and stress by like talking people behind their backs with somebody because that's what they do. And so you just kind of start to do it too. When anybody starts a new job, you're kind of trying to please people. So the longer, if it's like that when it started, you're more likely to get sucked in because you want to please more when you first get there. So that could be a warning for some, not all. It's just something that came through. So just always do what you need to do to bring yourself back. One of the things that I always did was I had a little short list of, like what I would consider talking, or at least it's going to head that way. And I would get up and just find something to go do. And that would be my cue that instead of sitting and having fun, because it's important to sit and have fun with your coworkers or certain people when you're working together and just have like a moment of letting go and blowing off steam. But if it's like to breed negativity, that's a little bit different, and it's not like they mean to breed negativity in some cases. It's just how things work out, right? So sometimes that could be a good indicator of I need to go do a little extra task during this free time instead of visiting with these guys and go do something more productive. That's just like an example. Okay. Oh, I think we did an example for all three of the types. Ooh, shark. I was just talking about sharks and being connected to them. Trust your instincts to discern the truth of the situation. What were we just saying? Having that higher perspective, observing, keep on moving, move out of the way if things start to feel icky, right? Move on to something more productive if things start to feel like they're not going in a positive direction for you. For those of you that really want somebody to, I feel like this needs to be said to some, like, it's very important to make sure that you don't hold somebody else accountable for what you've fantasized about with them. And I know that everybody's like, well, duh, and I get that. It's just like knowing what their feelings might be or feeling like you shared a moment together. Always remember that their perception could be different from yours. That's, seems to be a little thin underlying message coming through for a specific few. But trust your instincts and keep moving forward. Go day by day. Do your tasks as they come at you. Wolverine, you're a lot tougher than you think you are. Aww. Group 4. I know, this is taking up so much of your energy. I think we need to take a moment to acknowledge that. Sorry that you can't see my hands very much and you might be getting tired looking at the screen, but I'm trying to keep my shadow. It's starting to get dark outside again. But starting to cool off, which is super nice. I like the way that feels. It got really hot this year where I am. Okay. I feel like I feel like for some of you, and this is going to go back to me being like, be sure they like you too. For some of you, if this ends up being the case that this person doesn't reciprocate with you, okay? You want them really bad, they don't reciprocate with you, or you don't end up going forward because you're both married or whatever, okay? There's a lot of situations coming through. I don't want to keep you all day or keep you until it gets so dark we can't see anything. But your guides are saying that even though it feels like, oh man, I'm going to die if I don't have this person, like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to go the rest of my life? Especially if you know for sure that you could have them if you want them. That can be one of the most tempting things of all. And the only thing keeping you back is that spiritual, moral feeling that you have that you've set for yourself. And I'm not judging anyone. We all have different morals and codes of honor that we set for ourselves. It's not my job to make sure anybody follows those codes. It all depends on how much you want to keep that code and how much it matters to you if you break that code. It has nothing to do with anybody else but you. And that's also something that's important to remember. And you're a lot tougher than you think. If you feel like you can't resist somebody's advances, you can't, but you know that that's like not just the right thing to do for somebody else. It's like the right thing to do for you. Like I want to give into this, but I could never live with myself if I did. Kind of temptation coming through, and it might not be infidelity. That could be like giving into a drug, giving into an old habit. You're a spy, and they come back and say, man, we need your help to crack open this safe and get all this money, and you're going to get a bunch if you help us. And you're like, man, it'd be so easy, but I told myself I was out of the game. I'm like picturing some guy trying to open a safe, and he gets this like shocked look and looks at his phone like, oh my gosh, I thought I was just listening to YouTube videos to relax while I was cracking this safe. It turns out my guides were saying something to me. I kid. But anyway, if it's your ex situation, you're stronger than you think. This person isn't just going to blow you over, right? If it's a work thing, You're tougher than you think. You don't need people's approval. You don't need to worry about somebody messing with you because you didn't get involved in their drama. You also can stand up for yourself and not worry about huge, awful, what do you want to call it? Bad things happening, bad results because you stood up for yourself. It's actually something that would solidify you to the point where you wouldn't get messed with at all because people would just understand that you're tougher than you think you are. They pick up on that vibe and they just kind of know to leave you be. I really hope this looks okay. I can't see the screen at all anymore the way the lighting is. Oh, group 4. Do you dwell in darkness? Do you like the night? Is that why you picked this group? Exchanging gifts. Where do I want to put you? Number 27. Between worlds. Interesting. TikTok. Goodness gracious. These cards want to stick together real bad. And Yang. Okay. Let's talk about these real quick. That Between Worlds reminds me of that weasel and hawk yeah, did I say hawk? Yeah, hawk energy, where you are seeing things from two different perspectives, from your own perspective, from the other people's perspective, however that metaphor was working for you. Looking at things from all angles could be that simple meaning of that. Exchanging gifts. This feels like actually a very strange message, but I'm going to throw it out there. Your guides, there's some of you that your guides really want to exchange gifts with you. They give you information and in return you give them something else. It could be something very simple, like you might want to do some research on what spirits like to be given as gifts. It could be leaving butter out on the counter. It could be, I don't know what kind of different, we got a lot of different cultures here. So whatever cultural way that you can give gifts to your guides, they're asking for that the more you give to them, the more that you're going to give to you. Same thing with communication and same thing with actual like monetary or physical things that you give to one another. Somebody's worried about time. Like something about, and there that shark energy of having to move, keep moving, keep moving. It has a, like with the people who are dealing with X stuff, it's like you want to know when they're going to stop being in your life. And your guides want to remind you that it's important to enjoy your life now. And don't worry about, staying miserable until, right? For some in the X's category, some of you might be feeling like you're running out of time or like you wasted time with that X, and your guides want you to know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Everything is working according to plan. Everything is going to be okay. There's this other message coming in with exchanging gifts, but I'm not getting what it is. So I apologize to those guides if I don't figure it out. Exchanging gifts. Oh, okay, here's something. For those of you that this is an X, there's a guide that's saying, think of when you're splitting things up between each other, like your property, your whatever, to think of it as, I'm giving you this so that you don't ever bother me again. And maybe even set that expectation with your ex if you have that much communication with them of, once you get these things, these gifts that I'm going to give you, then your gift to me is that, we don't do this, whatever it is that feels, kind of battlesome to you at this time. I know battlesome is not a word. Fighty, is that better? Oh. between worlds. I feel like some of you are between worlds in that sense of like the world where you get that person. The world where the ex has left you alone, but the world you're in, right? The world where you don't have that person. And with work, being new and yet being very, you might be like new, but you're also very experienced in your field, but you're just new to the place. Or vice versa, you know, you've been around that field forever, but you're new to the role. I don't know what I'm saying. I just said the same thing twice, I think. Anyway, you know what I mean. Yang is about taking action, fire energy, male energy, giving energy. It always helps when you're focused on yourself to give to others when you think about it. That's just something that's coming through. For some of you, if you're like, I do that all the time, then that probably wasn't for you. Yang is also about strength. Like you have strength and you have the strength of hawk and shark and Wolverine. You're tougher than you think. You know, it's about endurance. It's about you know, showing others what you still have to show them. Like there's no rush. It's about logic. Yang is about being assertive. It's about growth and manifesting what you want. You've got good things coming towards you with this animal energy. It's like I can't tell. It's like there's just this level of frustration with other people, whether it's a person that you really want them and you can't have them because other people are involved or whatever. Your ex is always you know, stealing joy left and right. The work situation can be toxic, or you're new and you can't quite get into the niche that you want to get into. I don't know. Like it's, regardless of all that, like you have the ability to manifest things to go well with your yang energy at this time. And some of you with this energy here, I feel like some of you have the ability to affect things on this plane and the astral plane. If that means something to you, you know who you are. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea what this card means. Why? Interesting. Okay. This is coming through for a lot of you. For some of you, it's like, why wouldn't they want me? Or why would I want this person when morally I know I can't have them? That kind of why. Why is this happening to me? That kind of why. Why am I in this awesome position, but the people around me are acting like a bunch of children? Why am I in this awesome job, but the bosses are always messing up the fun we could be having because they don't understand what it's like to have this job? Why, that kind of thing. Why is this happening now? Again, the main message is that you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Like, if we were supposed to get to just go through life and la-ti-da and, like, nothing bad would ever happen, then we would have just stayed, like, in wherever our souls came from, where there's not conflict and stuff, and then we choose to forget and come here and live a life of struggle and meaning and learning. That's why. No, I don't know. I get that you want to know. Let's keep looking. Yeah, it's just so that you can build your own experiences. You can build your own learning. You can help others because you learned certain things. That's for life and beyond life. Co-create. That sharing gifts as well. And go the distance. I don't want to discourage anybody from going for what they want. Like, I feel like, you know, some of you have a chance. If you don't feel like you can handle not getting what you want, then don't go for it. If you can't handle that, worse than wondering if you what it would have been like if you would have gotten it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know how else to say that. Oh, goodness. Knock some ideas around with somebody, an objective person, and just like be like, you don't even have to tell them what the whole situation is. Just be like, hey, I just really want to know, what should I do? I love how it's like a cheetah in both of these cards that we just got right next to each other. And just go for what you want. You should just go for what you want, because you never know, if you're going to get it if you don't try. That's coming through. Live for now. Be in the moment. Out to sea. Oh, goodness gracious. Some of you just need to take a bubble bath, is what this card means. To others, some of you guys are saying you're floating away, you need to come back. Some of you, I feel like you're getting overwhelmed, and I feel like your overwhelmedness coming on stronger throughout the reading. I think some of you are like hoping that this is just going to tell you that exactly what your situation is and how it's going to be okay, right? Specifically, but it's like too general and there's too many different things coming through. Some of you might literally actually be living out to sea right now. Some of you might be traveling by water at some point, or traveling over a large body of water, going a long distance, if you will. Some of you feel isolated. Like the people with X's, there's things that you can't be a part of the same way you were a part of before, and so you feel isolated in certain ways. Those of you that want somebody, you feel a bit isolated. If you feel like somebody's getting their attention more than you, or if you just feel like you just can't have what you want, so it makes you feel very alone. Being new at work can make you feel that way as well. Being in a new position at work. I do believe I might be. Yep. Aw, Nine of Cups is getting wish fulfillment, though. Like I said, I feel like things are going in a good direction for most of you. I feel like for those of you, if in the near future you end up writing me a letter of what ended up happening, you had to check a box. Did you get what you wanted from the beginning of that reading later on in life? Yes or no? And you said no. I feel like most of you would have a happy reason why, that would end up being a good reason why. That you're keeping an eye out and being very observant and looking at things from different perspectives actually causes you to realize that you needed to move on to something else. That's just one example. But I see so many of you getting what you want. The Empress, yes, that would also go along with that. Success, like the shiny, happy times of life. So maybe get some rest and relax. You don't have to make all this happen by sitting around and worrying. That's not going to make it happen anyway. Your burden is almost over. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be resolved within a timely manner, like I don't feel like you guys are going to be like sitting here waiting for years and years for this to resolve. Yep. A cycle is coming to an end, which means new beginnings are coming through. Emotional fulfillment. I feel like some of you are going to get that person that you want. That they're going to say yes to you, that your ex is going to leave you alone, that work is going to work out the way you would like it to. The Devil energy makes me feel like your guides are saying to enjoy the things that are going well now while they are going well now. And not to feel guilty for that. Okay? Some of you, this person would say yes to you if you wanted to have an affair with them, and your guides are saying, really understand what you're getting yourselves into, but that could be a very high possibility that that's something that they're willing to engage in with you. Lots of partnership vibes, lots of support coming towards you. And choices coming up. I want more. Man, these are so many different things. I wish I could do like one reading for all of these. Yeah, getting what you want. Offering somebody something that they want. Try not to focus on, like I said, worrying about what you might not get. That you're headed towards what you're supposed to have. Okay. And with that, I shall leave. If this was helpful, tell me how in the comment section. Give me topic ideas there as well. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, there are ways to do so in the description box. My friends, thank you. We shall see you next time. Bye, 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 bye.